Hello everybody! Today I'm going to show you how you can turn a big shirt into this. That's today on Refashioning with Rachel. Okay, so take your shirt, and for reference, I thrifted this one. It is a triple XL, and turn it inside out and fold it in half and line up all the seams and make sure it's lying down nice and smoothly. And take your time to line up the shoulder seams, and I pinned them down to make the next step a little easier. And I also pinned along the side of the shirt. I'm putting a safety pin on the collar and the cuff of one side of the shirt, and this is so I can tell them apart later. And now I'm taking a shirt that fits me nicely and I'm laying it on top of the big shirt. And I'm using this shirt as my pattern, so I'm tracing around where all the seams are, adding about 1 centimeter for seam allowance, all the way around the armhole and the side of the shirt. And when I get to about where the waistline is, I took a straight edge and made a straight line all the way down to the bottom of the shirt. I was kind of going for an A-line silhouette. And then after that's cut out, we have our front and our back pieces. Moving on to the sleeves, I made sure to lie them out flat and stacked them on top of each other. And I used that same shirt as a pattern for the sleeves, making sure the cuff of my shirt was lined up with the cuffs of the sleeves that I'm going to be cutting out. And then I'm just tracing it out using a centimeter seam allowance again, going all the way down to the cuff of the sleeve and all around the armhole. And we have our two sleeves, and I'm just going to mark the center of the shoulder seam on both of these, and we can get to sewing. So here's where the safety pins come into play. I'm making sure that the side of the shirt that has the safety pin in the collar is going to be sewn to the sleeve that has the safety pin in the cuff. And I'm lining up the center shoulder seams and pinning all around the armhole. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And after it's pinned, I can sew the sleeve to the armhole. And I'm going to sew the other armhole in the same way. And I'm going to go ahead and serge my seams. If you don't have a serger, you can of course just zigzag the seams. And now that the sleeves are attached, I can pin all along the side seam from the armpit down to the hem and to the cuff. And once it's pinned, I can sew all along the underarm seam and the side seam all in one go. And I'm just going to sew straight through the cuff here, so I'm making sure that it's lined up nicely before I sew it down. And of course, repeat on the other side. So in theory, the dress would be finished now, but I tried it on and I decided to make a few adjustments. First, I decided it was a little too flared out, so I took down the angle of the skirt a little bit. And I also took it in about 1/2 centimeter around the whole side seam on both sides. And after those adjustments, it fit me a lot better. And then I wanted to make a tie to cinch in the whole dress, so just going through all the scraps, I cut 2-inch wide strips everywhere I could. Once I had a decent pile of strips, I could attach them all at the ends. And then I ended up with a nice long strip of fabric. And once those were all attached, I sewed that long strip down, right sides facing, into a long tube. And then I turned the tube inside out, and I had a tie. And that's it, the dress is finished. Here's a reminder of how it looked before. And this is what it looks like now. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe if you liked it, and have a nice day.